wonderful Thursday. Okay, yeah, I had to think. Thursday, we call it Orange Day here in my house. So, Thor's Day, that striking of that orange, powerful color, the hammer, I think about things like that. Today is a day that we do mending around our house. And so that kind of got me thinking about mending and what's happening with this this beautiful light that's coming in, and that you can expect it to continue weaving and amping up, for that full moon that's coming the 20th. And with that full moon illumination that will be happening, it will be illuminating something, that I feel like is a POW. That's what I hear. There's going to be a POW that's going to be illuminated. And that could be different depending on your perspective, what that POW is. I feel like it's going to be for you personally. There's going to be a reveal or a revelation. And for the world, there'll be some POWs, some reveals and revelations, because that's what that beautiful full moon does, right? She illuminates her full light, shedding right on target on those things that need to rise up and be announced or revealed. So, hi Davina, I'm gonna shout out to you. So, in thinking of this today, I was thinking about the caterpillar, and we saw a yellow butterfly, which I always pay attention to nature. Nature is our medicine, our teachers, our nourishment. Being out in nature, we have this symbiotic dance with Mother Earth, Lady Gaia, Pachamama. And being out in the sun today, it's very sunny today where I am, and being out in the sun was really providing a lot of nourishment. And when we are outside, even if it's not sunny, I know I've said this before, we're receiving that sunlight through those clouds, through that grayness, wherever you might be, and receiving that nourishment, that light, that awakening our key codes, that igniting our key codes, turning them on, bringing parts of ourselves back. But the sunlight itself nourishes us on so many levels. Physically, we receive nourishment through our skin, through our energetic bodies, we receive nourishment. It's like amplification. It's, photosynthesis, right? It's this beautiful recharging of our fields of light that makes up our temple of light, us, right? Our network of light. And so I was getting a lot of sun on the back of my neck, and I was thinking, ooh, that's starting to feel a little bit intense. But I started breathing through it because of the activities we were doing outside. I couldn't really change my position that much. And I was breathing through it and inhaling and exhaling. And suddenly it felt warming and not burning. It felt like something opened up at the back of my neck, something melted away. And so I was thinking about, caterpillar came to me. And this is transformation. And as I was thinking about caterpillar, I saw a caterpillar, and it was black with this red or orange head. And I thought, wow, it's leading by Archangel Gabriel. I think of Gabriel as very orange, sometimes with this orange light, or brings that orange, juiciness. That's what I think of, that deep, beautiful gem of orange. And so it's using its head, it's moving forward, finding a place to transform, right? This caterpillar, and it being the color black, I was thinking, that can be going within and finding what is getting ready to emerge for this full moon, right? Because a full moon is like a blossoming flower. That's its complete blossom to me. It's opening and blossoming of what's been cultivating and what we've been feeding to it, and it's been feeding us, that symbiotic dance that we have with the moon and the moon's energies, and how we've been working with it over this cycles from the new moon to the full moon. And I was thinking about this transition that we all are personally making, as well as in the world, and how important it is to be in nature, to take your shoes off, even if I've said this before, I lived in a concrete jungle for a very long time in New York City. And yeah, I took my shoes off. Mostly when I was at the park, in Central Park or other small parks around. But sometimes on the sidewalk, got a break from what we were doing, and I would run outside and take my shoes off, stand on the cement. So, making that connection, whatever small piece of nature you can find, even if it's, something that you see far off in the distance from where you are working or where you're living, focus on it. Allow yourself to connect telepathically with it, with your wave, with your light, to reach out to it and allow it to come back to you. Listen carefully to what it's telling you, what it's feeding you. There's a park around us, and we have a forest out and back. But there are several dryads that are coming out, and you can see the faces in the trees, and they have changed and shifted positions. And I've heard many adults around talk about that, going, oh, that tree looks different. It has a different face almost. But yes, they're alive. They can hear us. They feel us. It's really important that we allow our network of light through our heart expansion, but our feet, being, again, that temple of light and feeding it down into the earth, opening to that nourishment of the sun, the celestial realms, even the moon, and feeding it down into the earth. So if you're a walker under the stars, or if you run under the stars at night, then you can bring that light with every step you take, planting it into the earth, because we are dancing with her. We are helping her through this process and shifting like the caterpillar ourselves, making that transformation. And so I saw a yellow butterfly in our garden, and I was thinking, again, the sun, that bright yellow, that bright feeling of, I can almost smell that citrusy smell that awakens us, that, citrus smells revive, they open you and open your senses, and they're good use for memory work, if someone's taking a test or needs to remember something, smelling those essential smells. And so lemon is also very cleansing, and this butterfly was this lemony color, and I was thinking about the cleansing that we're going through in this process of cleansing personally and, again, in the world, energetically, physically. So, call on the butterfly maiden, because that is definitely a being of light, that she comes and she helps you gently and gracefully with that transformation. She's associated mostly with the Native American culture, but butterfly maiden and the Chinese culture, she has a beautiful dance. She comes in, she's gentle, she helps you gently release that casing, right? That chrysalis that you're making around yourself, and say, okay, now it's time to come out. Let's start peeling those layers away so you can make your way out and open your wings and your back and feel that space back there. Feel that light and that beauty unfurl and unfold. And taking those risks, and what the guidance is for risks is really about taking the risks and believing in yourself, which isn't a risk at all, right? But it feels that way sometimes because of the people maybe around us. And even if they live within your household, or you talk to them every day, or you work with them, or whatever it may be, sometimes it's really hard to hold that line, open those wings, stand on that flower, gathering the pollen, the beauty, all of that nourishment for yourself, and allowing it to nourish you on all levels, and holding that space of, this is my truth, this is my truth, this is what is my truth for me, and knowing that there are so many different timelines happening right now, and that's okay, that someone else is going through a different reality, and they are definitely experiencing that. That is their reality, that's what they're choosing to go through, so we respect their choices, and their highest self is working with them, but there is going to be more opening coming the next week, and I'll talk more about that on Monday, on my Instagram live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me there, and so I'll talk more about that then, about the opening of communication that's coming. But with this, this flight and this sense of speaking your truth and holding your truth, holding your vision. As I talked about last time, what are you weaving? What is your gold threads that you're weaving with? Because as the yellow butterfly flits to each flower, that butterfly is choosing what flower, what pollen it wants to gather, okay, what nectar it wants to retrieve. And so this is the guidance. What nectar, what pollen are you gathering to nourish yourself and nourish your environment? Because whatever we're gathering, we shine out for others, right? So our vibrational essence is shining and touching others, okay? Our footsteps are planting because we are energy, we are vibratory energy and light. And as we spread our nectar, our pollen, all of that we have gathered, and hold to that within our hearts, shine that within our hearts, and trust and have faith, right? The more nourishment, the more flowers we will find to gather for ourselves and to nourish with, and the more butterflies we will find, like you yourself, to connect with, right? And to not feel alone, to gather our communities, to express our joy in each other and the light. And that doesn't mean denying that there are other timelines happening, and people are experiencing those timelines, but allowing yourself to stand in your flower, your power, with your wings, and they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, and testing them out, allowing yourself to speak honestly, truthfully. So what's interesting is a loved one said to me, and I know that she won't mind that I say this, a loved one said to me, sometimes people compromise for each other and, with their expression. And I think that's a very old pattern, an old pattern that comes from maternal lines, and this can be passed on to daughters, sons, it doesn't matter the gender, but sometimes that maternal line can pass on, this is how we need to behave, this is what we need to look like, and you can compromise for people, to make them feel comfortable, or compromise for your partner, or compromise for, your workspace to make people feel comfortable around you. And wow, did I feel Gabriel and Lady Gaia and Lady Venus and so many Isis and so many coming in, and the angelic realm saying, oh no. And some of them weren't saying it that gently. I laughed because I felt Thor's hammer, pow, no thanks. It's healing when we hear someone say something like that we want to help them pull that thread, those old tattered threads out, and allow them to reweave, but it's the work they need to do. So we can be the beacon of light. We can be that butterfly spreading all of that nectar to others, and not by forcing anything, but by being the beautiful lights that we all are, and with our unique skill sets, but the voice of one, of unity, right? Of the one true heart. And so we don't compromise our beautiful expression, because we are each divine sparks of the one true heart, of God, Goddess, of divine source, whatever you may call that. We are each radiant beings of light and individual, and we must express ourselves honestly and truthfully and from our heart. That's from our heart, honestly, truthfully. That's true compassion, compassionate with ourselves, and expressing who we are, how we behave, how we dress, what we look like, our choices, our thoughts. All of this is nourishment to be able to creatively express So I felt very on fire about that. And it's very important. This is the divine masculine and feminine is coming in so strongly these last couple of weeks for me. And I wonder if you feel it as well. And if you want to share anything with me, awakening@melissavirtue.com, I would love to hear it. I've had some people write me and I love it. And so I will likely MP3 you back as it's a little bit easier than typing out sometimes. And also the reason being is that our voices are healing and it's nice to hear someone's voice, I feel. And so that's what I've been told to give. And so, feeling this sense of nourishment from the sun. And even if you're in clouds, you can feel that coming in. If you just close your eyes, I can promise that you will see some kind of light lighting up behind your eyelids, if you just give it a moment to close your eyes out there. And then, right, exactly. And then also, I'm going to say that when someone compromises, I'm trying to say too many words at once, when someone compromises with their words, the voice is so healing, the sound is healing, when I say this, the angelic realm is sharing with me the beating of wings. If we're quiet, we can really hear the music of the angelic realm and their vibration. We can hear the beating of the nature world, the heartbeat of Pachamama, and the beating of wings. And our voice, our heart, our heart comes up and through out our voice, right? And so no compromising, because if you're compromising with your words, you're compromising your heart, your true expression, who you are. And if you feel like, well, I don't know how to say something, because that was a great comment that just came up, I don't know how to say something, then you ask your guides to help you, ask your higher self, you ask your heart, help me speak this with compassion and love, unconditional love. Help me speak this in the way this person needs to hear it, in true compassion, from my heart. And you will, even if it sounds direct and to the point, or it could be very soft, like the butterfly maiden. But we have also the feminine, the lunar goddess, that feminine divine energy, and she is shining light. And I know that there is a different timeline or different reality out there for people about the moon. And I hesitate to even say that because I don't want you to run and go look that up if you haven't connected to it. But sometimes we're made aware of these things because that's not something that came into my energy field until I was thankfully made aware of it. And right, okay, I'm gonna comment on that. I saw another come up. And so what I want to say first about it is, it comes into our fields to help alchemize. Okay, if it's not in your field of light, of being, of weaving. And let's say that something comes in and you hear, well, that's to help heal it, to help alchemize it, to help spread your light and reweave that light that's come in. So you can plant it as you walk, as you run, as you be out in nature, as you heart open around while you speak to people, see people, smile at people, think of people. Okay, because again, we're all energy, we're all light. So just thinking of someone merges into their energetic field, their energetic being as well. So, but that is another reality, and it's okay if you're immersed in that right now, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But just allow her to speak to you. Allow that divine feminine, that lunar energy to speak to you. She is powerful and graceful. And she is bringing some much needed illumination of that silvery white light, that quiet, calm energy of balancing again action and rest. and calm action. I feel like she's balancing, her and the masculine are dancing together with that calm action, not frantic, not out of fear, not out of any imbalance place, but just calm action. It's your truth. So I want to make a comment, now that I've said that, about someone saying that they often compromise their words to keep the peace. So again, keeping the peace. And you, beautiful being that shared that comment, thank you. When we compromise our words to keep the peace, it's actually just masking something. It's not helpful. It acts like a crutch. It acts like a crutch for other people. And they certainly don't need those crutches anymore. There are so many, and it's time to lay them down and move them away. So remembering that that's not helpful to anybody. It's not helpful to you because you're not speaking from your heart, which is your authentic voice, your authentic way of singing, of creating. Because when we speak, we're creating, we're making manifest. Okay? And so sometimes we need to be the warriors of love, the warriors of light. And I'm hearing them tell me all the time, well, whatever that feels right to you. But, people need to be awakened. If you are around these types of people and your voice is here and it's getting stuck and you feel like you need to up out it, speak authentically always. And you're going to around the people that need it the most, and it's up to them to choose how they respond. And it's up to you to choose how you respond to their reactions. You can always remove yourself from the situation. And let's say that you're in a room and you don't feel like you can physically leave the room for circumstances of work or whatever they may be. Call in your guides, call in your highest self, call in your heart to wrap yourself in the wings of your petals, of your heart petals, of those 33, right? Of surrounding you in fields of light made and created from the flower of life. I see that a lot for healing, harmony, and protection. So think about that next time that you feel like you want to keep the peace, because it actually crutches and enables, it's enabling to people. And what their highest self is doing is choosing the experience of hearing what you have to say. Okay, so there we go. I've done that myself. I mean, a long time ago, I've had to learn that in a very challenging way. Let's see, I just want to see what this, okay. So I saw a comment, if you could place that back up, I'll look at it again. It just disappeared. It transformed. I'm going to pull a card while I'm waiting if you want to place that comment back up there. So, sometimes people will choose to respond in ways that are shocking and surprising. And remember that when they throw something at you or bounce something at you, send something to you that doesn't feel very, like you can feel, they're vibrating, just gently breathe it back, and allow it to transmute. Take a deep breath when someone says something or reacts to something or actions something out that feels on a lower vibration than what you want to take into your field. You don't have to take that in. You can just remember that that is a reflection of how they feel about themselves, okay? And they're just actually, I feel, calling out for help, whether they seem like they want it or not. Yeah, you will do fantastic on that exam. You will. In fact, okay, so I'm pulling some cards here. You will. You know that too. I feel it deep in your core. So this is what I pulled for you. Davina. So, and this is for everyone too, but this was specifically when I was thinking about her exam, right? Um, Illumination, growth, divine masculine energy, pow, right? Yeah. So, wow. And again, that nourishment of the divine energy, of the divine light from that masculine that's so, I feel like can be boom, or can be very soft and when needs to be, and calm in that vibratory space of, I'm here. And it's so beautiful. And so allowing that nourishment to integrate for yourself. Again, standing outside today, find time. So we have that. And then I pulled the amethyst, which, on here it talks about behavioral patterns. And yes, psychic abilities, it helps us, amplify that, helps with many things. Protection, the high priest and priestesses would wear this in their breastplate, in the Native American cultures and in actually many cultures. But the behavioral patterns is what's coming up with it. And so focusing on amethyst or working with amethyst to help yourself with behavioral patterns if you feel like there's something that you need to unravel, to let go of, to release, but also others. And here comes that, that breastplate or that shield that they would wear, the amethyst in, is to gently push back the energies of behavioral patterns, to be that mirror, that reflection, that gentle healer, to show it as a reflection to the person who's sending it to you. That the behavioral patterns, as we were talking about just a few minutes ago, might feel a little wobbly if you're receiving it, or just, junky, plain junky. That's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to say something here. So there's a family member that when I was co-creating the cards with the angelic realm, the family member that she said to me, I really don't like amethyst at all. At all. Behavioral patterns. Yeah, so that's what I'll say about that. So if someone doesn't like amethyst, I think that there's some behavioral patterns that they might need to look at. They're not willing to do the work. Ooh. So, Paolu and Thor. Yes. Calling out loud. And it's okay because I say that in compassion and with my heart. But, the thing is that we need to recognize that. We need to recognize when someone says that to us, something like, oh, I don't like that, that's something that they likely need to work on and that we're reflecting back to them. Okay. Aha. And the last card, school lessons. So, to me, this card means today, lessons. Okay, so we're all learning lessons. The world's going through. But this means, to me, unschooling. So, unschooling. Unschooling yourself of those old behavioral patterns, right? Allowing yourself to be nourished. Allowing yourself to be nourished and held with the divine masculine. Allowing the lunar feminine to move in those places of rest and illuminating that beautiful what's rising and coming up, especially for the full moon. Okay, but I feel like that school card is definitely unschooling those patterns for yourself, and not taking on other people's teachings if they don't feel right, because you are a teacher. You are your own best teacher, right? Your own best guide. And so take what feels right, resonates, leave the rest. You don't have to take on anybody else's stuff or their lessons or their teachings or their information, especially if it feels to you, even if they're not demonstrating it, or they're not demonstrative about it, and they're pushing, with energy, and you feel, woo, you don't have to take that on. That's not yours. Listen to your own heart. Follow that. Open your butterfly wings and Yeah, allow that sun to nourish and dry those wings so they're filled with solar power and light to take flight. Okay. All right. So, yes. Davina, so there is, yes, there are lessons, and I will listen to your heart. And I will end with saying that if people are pushing words, verbiage onto you, ways that you must do something, patterns, adjectives, describing you in roles or naming your role for you, no thank you. Not today, disco lady. you know, and maybe not ever you want to dance that dance. So you can just say no thanks. Or you can smile and allow your heart to expand and they can feel that light. Okay? Yeah. But they're definitely bouncing that to you, sending that to you, trying to give that to you because it's something they need to heal and they need it reflected back. Really, it's like a call out for help, please. Okay, so we see them in love and compassion. We see them as, and there's no them and us, but we see people that are, sending this as they need some healing. They need love. They need compassion. Compassion. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. Have a beautiful, compassionate weekend, and I would love to hear from you. I hope that you join me Monday on Instagram Live, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will be back here Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Meanwhile, you can email me at awakening@melissavirtue.com, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would love that. And let's see, there's one more thing. Oh, so my Sacred Movement class will be coming out this month, and I'm really excited about that. So many blessings of compassion, light, and spreading those wings full of solar power.